Hey guys, welcome to JasonWhiskyWise. Myself, Jason, bringing you whiskey review number 87, where today we're going to be reviewing a whiskey all the way from Taiwan, which is the Kavalan ex-Bourbon Oak. So, if you haven't seen this one before, I'm going to leave a bottle of the an image of the bottle just over here so you can get a bit more familiarized with how it does look. Now, it does have they changed the packaging recently, so it does have a different packaging, but this is not the Solist, which I've covered in a previous video. If you haven't seen the Solist video, I'll leave it here. Go and give it a check and you'll see exactly what the Solist range is all about. It's all single casks bottling. So, I think I'll pop that here. So I'll fidget with it. So, this one here is the Kavalan ex-Bourbon Oak. In terms of my review style structure, it is a non-age statement whiskey. It is a much more hotter climate in Taiwan, more humidity, so whiskeys mature 3 to 5 times faster. And because they more are caring about the actual quality of the whiskey, they don't want to associate so much with a number, because if you have to put Taiwanese sort of age on a whiskey, it's like 3 years. If you transfer that into Scottish terms, for example, times it by 3 or times it by 5, you're looking at around about 12, but they can't write 12 as it's only a 3-year-old, and that can be also scaring people who are more sort of associated with age statements, and they just like to see age, so that's why it's a no age statement whiskey. In terms of the ABV, it's bottled at 46% ABV. The cask selection are ex-Bourbon Oak casks, and I believe they do use some of the stuff from the Solist range. So the Solist being the single casks, the ex-Bourbon Oak casks, they use those, and I think they take some of this, dilute it down, and that's how you get this at being at 46%. Now, the actual distillery is the Kavalan Distillery over here. Beautiful place. I'm going to be there in December, and I will take you along with me. So if you haven't already subscribed, be sure to subscribe. I'm going to take you around lots of distilleries and just show you stuff which you probably would never really notice, or if you've not been to a distillery, it'll be a first time. Now, they actually are, parent company are the King Car Group, and they are based in Yilan County, Taiwan, the northern part of Taiwan. So the price of this bottle, you must be wondering, how much is that? It is £68 to £70 here in the UK. So if you do your conversions with your dollars and euros, around about maybe $75, $78 and around about £73, maybe 73 euros. So around about in that price range. In terms of exclusivity, no, it is not exclusive. It is around, I believe it's a core expression that they have released. And in terms of caramel colouring, this is all a natural colour. So this is all natural goodness from the casks. And you can really see it. The extraction really comes out very well from the Kavalan whiskies. You guys know I love Taiwanese whiskies from the Kavalan range mainly. Not so much the Nantoi, but I'm getting used to them, which is the other distillery from Taiwan. So, we're going to assess the colour. I'm going to hold it up for you up on screen. Let me know what you think at home. I think this is more or less a bright gold. If you do have this dram, pour yourself one and taste it along with me. Leave your tasting notes down below in the comment section. So anyway, let's get into the nosing of the whiskey. So, into the nose. So, to begin on the nose for this whiskey, it starts out quite interesting, nice and creamy, tropical fruity notes, really just revealing themselves on the nose. This has had no water as well, so this is 46%. So, nice creamy, tropical fruity note. The vanilla notes are very bold, very dominant, and very revealing. They're the first things that you sort of pick out on the nose as well. Adding to that creaminess, I'm thinking it's like a vanilla cheesecake. Without the base, just a nice creaminess from it. Maybe dusted with a little bit of icing sugar to add that little sweetness which is finding its way through. I'm also getting what reminds me of an actual banana smoothie. If you ever tried a banana smoothie with actual yogurt and banana instead of having milk, and you sort of put it in a blender, you get it out, and it's got that creamy, but at the same time that nice aroma, that whiff of sweetness that comes off into the air. And right behind that, also notes of lime, and this is a lime juice, sort of quite fragrant. And also it's got a little, it reminds me of cream soda. If you have a lot of fizzy drinks, some of you guys don't really have so many fizzy drinks, but cream soda is one of my favorites, and this is just screaming out to me, cream soda. And maybe even a little bit of a candied, I don't know, I'm getting something sweeter behind that, and I'm not going to say vanilla this time again. This is more like maybe a candied citrus peel. But not lime. Maybe a bit of lemon. Interesting. Before I was getting lime juice, now I'm getting lemon. So next, let's move into the palate for this whiskey. So, into the palate. So to start on the palate for this whiskey, this one starts out with a little punchiness. The spices are quite revealing. They sort of show themselves first. They're like not hiding away. They want to be felt. And it's quite like a rich, peppery spice. It's also got what reminds me of fennel leaves. And a sort of a mouth-warming, gingery warmth that sort of just lingers all over the mouth, sort of developing, sort of opening the taste buds up to the next sort of wave of flavors. The texture-wise, it's sort of quite creamy, and it reminds me of coconut milk. A nice, rich coconut milk. There is a soft citrusy zest, and this is like a lemon zest making through. Maybe a tad of grapefruit. I'm going to have a second sip. Definitely some grapefruits. And from behind that, it becomes softer, more sweeter. Stone fruits, apricots. Interestingly enough, I'm picking off even lychee, and that's quite an exotic fruit. It's got that distinctive juiciness to it, which is very unusual. And then it goes a bit more even sweeter after that. And this is like a toffee, like a nice, rich, chewy toffee. And then a creamy vanilla envelops at the back of the palate. Sort of, I'd say, in terms of texture-wise, I'd say it's a medium full. It's not heavy, it's not thick. I think the actual, if you haven't seen my video on the other one, the Solist X Bourbon, that one I found a bit more richer. This one I'm saying is more around about a medium full. So we're going to move into the finish, and we'll come to our conclusion on the Kavalan X Bourbon Oak. So, into the finish. So, into the finish of this whiskey, it does have a lot of combinations of these spices, and they're sort of now sitting right in the middle of my palate. Not one of my, I don't know, I normally don't like too much of spice right in the center of my palate. It's quite sensitive to that. The vanilla oak coming through again. It does dry ever so slightly, and the taste buds do feel quite, I don't know, separated almost. I do get a little bit of pineapple coming through, and the finish is not short. It does hold itself on the middle of the palate and around the actual hole in general, as I'd say more like a medium long. I wouldn't say fully long, because I know the Solist version was really, well, it was a long finish. So this one I would say is more or less a medium long finish. So I'm going to give my rating for this one, and oh, it's got sweeter now. Interesting. Got sweeter. Much sweeter. So I'm going to give my rating for this one, and hopefully you guys can see this one. I'm going to give this one an 88. Hope you can see that. I'm going to give it an 88 out of 100. Reason behind that, in terms of value for money, around about 60 to 70 pounds, I think it's worth it. It's a cask strength expression, being 46%. Natural colour. Lots of, you get that really nice richness from the ex-bourbon cask. Would I add water to this whiskey? It is optional, and I personally feel if you add a few drops, it does reduce the spice a lot more, as I've tried that separately when I did the first try. If you don't like the spice, add a bit of water. If you do like the spice, go with it neat. And in terms of time, 50-50, let it breathe if you wish. It can also just make it a bit softer, but it does make it sweeter. So if you leave it for more time, it will make it much sweeter, but not too sweet. Personally for myself, the reason I've given it 88 is because I thought it was a really good whiskey. The only aspect I didn't find so attractive is the spice aspect right in the middle, because I do get a little sensitive with bourbon casks. Many people get sensitive with sherry casks. I get sensitive with bourbon casks when it goes a bit dry and ever so spicy. Mainly virgin oak, actually. So on that note, I'm giving it an 88 out of 100. I personally I think I prefer the Solist X Bourbon, but I'll leave you guys check that when I leave the link over here. But I'm going to wrap the video up on that. I will leave the next video, I believe, will be the Sherry Oak. So I'll leave that over here. Also, I'll leave another video over here, which will be the Solist Sherry Cask and the Solist Bourbon Cask over here. Be sure to check out my subscribe button over here if you haven't already subscribed. And if you have enjoyed the video, drop it a thumbs up. And stay tuned, we've got lots more videos to come. But this has been JasonWhiskyWise, and I'll catch you all for the next video.